Welcome to view the video lesson on light, reflection and refraction, chapter 10 of your NCERT textbook, Dear Class 10 Children. Dear children, we see a lot of things, objects in the world around us. However, in a dark room, we are not able to see any of them. But on lighting up the room, things becomes visible. What makes these things visible? During daytime, sunlight falls on these objects and it makes these things visible. The light that falls on the object is reflected back, and when it is received by our eyes, enables us to see the objects. A transparent objects transmit light through it, so we can see through them. Now, there are a number of wonderful phenomena related to light around us, like the image formation by a mirror, the twinkling of stars, the beautiful colorful rainbow, and the bending of light by a medium. All these things are related to light, and we can understand all these things when we learn the properties of light. You would have played with your shadows in your childhood, isn't it, dear children? It's really fun to play with your shadows. A small source of light can cast a sharp shadow of an object, point to the fact that light travels in a straight line. In this chapter, the two phenomena of reflection and refraction, we are going to study based on this straight line propagation of light. What do you mean by reflection of light? The phenomena in which a ray of light, after falling on a smooth polished surface, returns back into the same medium is called as reflection. Now, all the reflecting surfaces like plain mirror, which is highly polished surface, reflects almost all the light that falls on it. Now, you are very familiar with the two laws of reflection, which you have already learned in your lower classes. They are the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. The incident ray, the reflected ray, the normal to the mirror at the point of incidence all fall in the same plane. Now these two laws are applicable to almost all the reflecting surfaces, including spherical mirrors. Now frequently we would like to see ourselves in the mirror. We admire ourselves in the mirror at least 10 times in a day, isn't it? Now, we are actually admiring the image formed by a plane mirror. Now, what are the properties of the images formed by a plane mirror? This also, dear children, you have already learned. Let's recollect. The image formed by a plane mirror is erect and is of the same size as the object, and it is virtual, and it is as far behind the mirror as the object is in front. But only thing is that it is laterally inverted. How would the images be when the reflecting surfaces are curved? Let's explore. The curved surface of a shining spoon can be used as a curved mirror. Now, the most commonly used curved mirrors are spherical mirrors. The reflecting surfaces of spherical mirrors forms the part of the surface of a sphere. Such mirrors whose reflecting surfaces form the part of a sphere are called as spherical mirrors. There are two types of spherical mirrors, concave mirror and convex mirror. The spherical mirror whose reflecting surface curved inward is called as concave mirror, and the spherical mirror whose reflecting surface is curved outward is called as a convex mirror. Now let's understand some of the important terms related to spherical mirrors. The first one is pole. Pole of a spherical mirror is a point on the surface of the reflecting surfaces of the spherical mirror, and it is represented by the letter P. It lies on the surface of the mirror. Now, the next one is center of curvature of the spherical mirror is the center of the sphere of which the mirror forms a part, and it is represented by the letter C, and it's a point on the center of the sphere. Now, radius of curvature of a spherical mirror is the radius of the hollow sphere of which the mirror forms a part, and it is represented by the letter R. Now, the next one is the principal axis of a spherical mirror. It is the line passing through the pole and the center of curvature of the spherical mirror. The next one is very important, and it is the focus of a spherical mirror. The light rays which are coming from infinity after reflection will meet either or appear to meet at a point on the principal axis, and this is the focus of the spherical mirror. The next one is very important. It is the focal length, and it is the distance between the pole and the focus of the spherical mirror. The spherical mirrors of small aperture, there is a relationship between the radius of curvature and the focal length. Radius of curvature R is equal to twice the focal length in case of such spherical mirrors. Dear children, ray diagrams represent the image formation by spherical mirrors. But there are some rules used for drawing ray diagrams. Let's understand the rules. Observe the pictures. Picture 1, picture 2, picture 3 and picture 4 represent rule 1, 2, 3 and 4 used for drawing ray diagrams. The first rule says that if the incident ray is parallel to the principal axis, then the reflected ray passes through the focus of the concave mirror. The second rule says that if the incident ray passes through the focus of the concave mirror, the reflected ray is parallel to the principal axis. And the third rule says that if the incident ray passes through the center of the curvature of the concave mirror, the reflected ray traces the same path. And the fourth rule says that a ray incident obliquely at the pole is reflected obliquely by making equal angle of incidence and reflection with the principal axis. So you have to follow these rules while drawing the ray diagrams. Now let's understand the first ray diagram, which represents the image formed by a concave mirror for a particular position of the object. If the object is at infinity, look at the diagram, the image will be formed at the focus. The image will be real, that is, you can obtain the image on a screen inverted and diminished. When the position of object is beyond C, the position of image will be between F and C. The size of the image will be diminished, and the nature of the image will be real and inverted. In the case of the next one, that is the position of the object at C, the image will also be formed at C. The size of the image will be the same, and the nature of the image will be real and inverted. Let's understand the image formation by a concave mirror for different positions of the object. When the object is placed between center of curvature and principal focus of concave mirror, a real image is formed beyond the center of curvature. So here the position of the object is between C and F. Position of the image is beyond C. Size of the image is enlarged, and nature of the image is real and inverted. And the next one is when the object is placed at principal focus of a concave mirror, A highly enlarged image is formed at the infinity. So here the position of the object is at F, position of the image is at infinity, size of the image is enlarged, and nature of the image is real and inverted. And the next one is position of the object is between P and F. Position of the image is behind the mirror. You observe the picture, third picture. Size of the image is enlarged and nature of the image is virtual and erect. Now let's understand the uses of concave mirrors. Concave mirrors are used in the torches and headlights and also in the searchlights and also the headlights of the vehicles to get a powerful parallel beam of light. They are also used in the shaving mirror to get an enlarged view of the face, image of the face. Now, concave mirrors are used by dentists. You would have observed when you have visited a dentist to get an enlarged view of the image of the patient's teeth. And now concave mirrors are also used by solar furnaces to concentrate light to produce heat. We consider only two positions of the object for studying the image formed by a convex mirror. In the first one, position of the object is at infinity, position of the image is at F behind the mirror, because we know that F is behind the mirror in the case of convex mirror. Size of the image is highly diminished and point-sized, and nature of the image is virtual and erect. In the second position, the object is between infinity and pole of the mirror. Position of the image is between P and F behind the mirror, and size of the image is diminished, and nature of the image is virtual and erect. Let's understand the uses of convex mirrors. Convex mirrors are used inside the buildings. You might have noticed large office buildings, stores, malls, hospitals, and many other buildings have convex mirrors in the corners as it provides a wide field of vision. They're also used as rear view mirrors in cars and trucks and even scooters as it forms an erect image of an object. Hence, the objects can easily be identified, and as it forms a diminished image of objects, thus increases the field of vision. They're used in magnifying glasses also. They are also used for security purposes to view the corners that are not easily accessible. Now, street light reflectors use convex mirrors to scatter light to a wider area. Now let's understand about mirror formula. Mirror formula is the relationship between object distance u, image distance v, and focal length. Mirror formula of the concave mirror is 1 by f is equal to 1 by v plus 1 by u. Here an object AB at a distance u from the pole. The image A dash B dash is formed at a distance v from the mirror. The position of the image is obtained by drawing ray diagrams. Now let's understand the magnification of a mirror. What is magnification? Magnification is the increase in the image size produced by spherical mirrors with respect to the object size. Now, what is the formula to calculate the magnification of spherical mirrors? Let's see. It is magnification is equal to height of the image by height of the object. That is M is equal to HI by HO. Now, the magnification is also related to the object distance and image distance. It is expressed as Magnification M is equal to HI by HO, which is also equal to minus V by U. So, as the object is always above the principal axis, the height of the object is always positive. But the sign for the image height may vary according to the type of the image formed. The height of the virtual image should be taken as positive, while the height of the real image could be taken as negative. We may have to do many problems related to magnification and mirror formula. So there are some sign conventions for reflection of spherical mirrors. We should know this to solve the problems. Sign in case of concave mirror. Let's understand. Since object is always placed in front of the mirror, hence the object distance is taken as negative. Since the center of curvature and focus lie in front of the concave mirror, so the radius of curvature and focal length are taken as negative in case of concave mirror. When image is formed in front of the mirror, the distance of the image is taken as negative, and when the image is formed behind the mirror, the distance of the image is taken as positive. Now, height of the image is taken as positive in case of erect image, and it is taken as negative in case of inverted image. Let's understand the sign convention in the case of a convex mirror. Since object is always placed in front of the mirror, hence the object distance is taken as negative. Since the center of curvature and focus lies behind the mirror, so the radius of curvature and focal length are taken as positive. In case of convex mirror, image is always formed behind the mirror, thus the distance of the image is taken as positive. In the case of a convex mirror, always an erect image is formed, thus the height of the image is taken as positive.